Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Learn more about the Experience community at our website, local.theexperience.video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Experience is brought to you each week by these great sponsors. Aspects of Aging weekly talk show with Christine A. Smith. Unscripted conversations with experts. AgingBetterNetwork.com. Seattle School of Chen. Established in 2006, dedicated to promoting Chen family-style Taiji Quan in the Pacific Northwest. SeattleChenTaiji.com. The Jalot Home Team, Keller Williams, Mid-Willamette Realty. Serving Lynn, Benton, Marion, Lane, and Polk counties. Visit TeamJalot.com. Avalos Car Media Group. Ollie and her team are helping entrepreneurs and businesses break through barriers, expand their reach, and thrive on a global scale. ACMGdigital.com. And now let's get on with the show.
Ta-da! Here we are, thriving and growing in a new day. You know what? We're so glad to be here with you on The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. And I'm telling you, you know what? No matter what's happening in your life, today's a new day. Today's a new opportunity, possibility, right, Scott?
You know, it was, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. It's been a while since we started using the hashtag right here, 1,000 thanks. And, Thanksgiving week is coming up, and it's a moment where we take as a nation, at least, to be reflecting on those things that we're thankful for. And I just think it's a special time.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think that it's just a little reminder. I was listening to an amazing podcast that my beautiful wife sent me. And this gal on the podcast, she was talking to a neuroscience surgeon, a neurosurgeon. And he was talking about how you actually physically control the neural connections in your brain by what you think about. So this is scientific proof that when you think about positive things and you're looking for that, you will see those things because your brain is looking for them. Part of the reticular activator, like you get a red Mustang and the next week you drive out and there's red Mustangs everywhere. They're everywhere because
they never existed until you bought one.
I know it. And it's like your reticular activator is looking for them. This is how the neurons in your brain work. So how that comes to thankfulness, Scott, is when you practice being thankful and doing things to people, your brain wires you to want to be thankful to people, to be thankful in your life, to tell others how you're thankful. And you can use hashtag 1,000 thanks, everybody, because that is just a reminder for you and for the people you're thanking what a blessing life really is.
Yeah, I encourage people use the 1,000 thanks when you're posting out. Just throw it in there, make it a part of your regular routine of those hashtags that you use, because it is a reminder to yourself every time you see it for what.
And thank Dr. Cindy Milligan, who helped us develop that. Right?
It was a process that she was doing. She was going through and being thankful, and fortunately, we were able to collaborate on that particular hashtag. But she really did bring us that concept in that the first time she was on The Experience, which I think has been 3 times now, something.
Yeah, it's been a while. And you know what, everybody? We get it. We didn't make up hashtag 1,000 thanks. We get that. It doesn't matter. That shouldn't stop you. Oh, other people have used that. Other people have done this. Oh, somebody else has probably created it. So what? Why recreate the wheel? Why not take good things and use them for the positive, right? So remember, wire those brains. Good habits, and a good habit is being thankful, will rewire your brain to look for that and be that way. And so that's something you can do today. Let me also tell you that if you do the converse of that, is that the right word? Anyway, if you do the opposite of that, then what will happen is you will wire your brain for negativity and looking for bad things. And guess what? Because of that, your brain will find them. You will see those because that's what you're looking for. So don't do that. Don't do that. Think positively, keep a good perspective, a mindset. And let me tell you, I practice that every day. I need it. God's given me the ability to be able to choose to do that. And he's given you the ability to. So anyway, enough of that. But
Well,
Scott,
we're going to have a great conversation with Larry, but first remind people how they can learn more about the experience.
oh my goodness. And there are great ways to do that, everybody. But let me tell you, the number one way is Scott's creation, local.theexperience.video. Go there and you'll find out about Scott and I. You'll find out about our other shows, as well as The Experience live with Russ and Scott here on Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And listen, there is great information on there because our other show also, or one of our other shows, The Experience Local, also broadcasts on radio. So if you happen to be local, or if you like to listen to radio on the internet, you can listen on the Experience Radio Network. And so go look for that. All that information is on local.theexperience.video. And we just really would appreciate that. You can also subscribe to our YouTube page. You can do it there, or you can go straight to the experience.video, which will take you directly to our YouTube page. That is a great resource, right, Scott? Because everything is right in one spot.
Woo, excuse me. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm all choked up. Yeah, please go to local.theexperience.video, learn all about the programs that we've got. But let's get right into Larry, because he's going to bring some inspiration and motivation. He's got just a great perspective on life.
Oh, he does. And it's been a while since we've been able to talk to Larry. What a great guy. And we are honored to have him here today. And I just want to tell you, we're going to let him tell you more about him. But Larry and people like Larry, don't forget, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every week, we're here. And if after we're done here, want to remind you, this sits on the platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube forever. So you can go back, rewatch, you can share, you can engage. Also, it converts to audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, whatever. If you don't have time to watch, you can listen. Mm-hmm. With that, now you know how to watch Larry again if you missed any of it. Let's bring him in. Mr. Larry Easto. Hello, Larry.
Hey guys, how are you?
Great to see you.
You know, every time I hear you say 7 a.m., I get tired.
Well, if Russ is confusing you with 7 a.m. Pacific, remember, it's 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time.
Yikes. I go back to bed.
Scott moved just because he didn't want to have to get up so early. So anyway.
Can
there you go. Well, Larry, listen, tell everybody a little bit about you and what you're up to these days.
Okay. I've got lots of things on the go, but I want to just pick up on what you just said about hashtag 1000. When you were talking about that, I had two things running through my mind. One was Jack Canfield's expression, rampage of gratitude. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Well, it's the same thing, same kind of thing. You think, do the positive thinking, positive approach, just gratitude, grateful for everything. And it's curious because I wrote that very thing this morning in something I'm working on. Another thing that hit me was something called the map of consciousness. And this is a phenomenal concept. Somebody has measured the energy levels from the bad levels to the top, and we want to get up to the top. And it's the same kind of thing you're talking about. It's the mind shift. It's you get back what you give out. And it's this used to be woo-woo stuff, but now mainline science is getting it. Mainstream science is getting it. So the hashtag 1000 is fantastic. So good stuff. Good on there. What about me? I've done a lot of stuff in my life. Right now, I'm doing what I consider to be my legacy project. And this is trying to consolidate some of my more meaningful lessons into a package that I can share them with others so that they can learn from my mistakes without my pain, without my agony, without my cost, without the time. So that's one of the things. That's what I'm doing. Planning on trying something new, maybe next year, the year after, something called retirement. Does anybody know anything about that? So I'm going to try that.
I've never heard of that.
From what
I know people who are retired and they keep telling me they're happy, but they don't look happy. So I'll give it a try. And hey, I can always go back to writing. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. And as part of it is part of, I guess, spreading the word or connecting. I'm doing a lot of podcasts, which is really fun. It's after having spent so much time behind my computer looking at the screen writing. It's a joy to talk with like-minded people. So that's where we're at, and I'm way off topic. So you better start asking questions.
Well, I like this whole idea of a legacy project. A lot of times I tell people that you should write a book because it does capture that legacy. And I tell people, imagine if your grandfather or great-grandfather or grandmother had written a book. You would cherish that because it'd be their perspective, whether it was fiction, nonfiction, family history, it doesn't matter, whatever that is. And so I love that you're talking about this legacy project. So I want you to give us more details about what you're putting together and why.
Okay. You got 5 hours. This is the current book. Current book is called How to Succeed in Your Professional Service Business book. And this is number 31. My first book was How to Succeed in Your Home Business book, which was about 30 years ago, I guess. And at that point, I self-published, and it was eventually bought. The rights were bought by Doubleday, and went on to do all sorts of great things, including being a bestseller. The first book was self-published. I did it myself. My wife did the editing, and a friend did the publishing, and lucked out and got it going through. Things have changed, and the book that I've just finished, again, it's self-published, but this time around I had the help of a phenomenal production house, for lack of a better term. And basically, I gave them finished manuscript. They took finished manuscript, edited it, produced it, packaged it, distributing it. And now it's available at something like 40,000 distribution points around the world. But the magic is it's on a print-on-demand basis. So instead of me having 1,000 copies printed to sit in a warehouse, or 10,000 or whatever it is, my first book, we had 6,000 copies printed.
Wow.
Anyway, that was a nightmare. But it's on a print-on-demand basis, and it's also in electronic format. So the actual physical cost of getting it out there is like nothing, absolutely nothing to me, because it all comes out of the sale proceeds. And what that means is somebody can walk into a bookstore in Waco, Texas, and order the book, and a printer in Tennessee will print one copy for them, and it will probably come in the mail. And that is just, to me, that is so amazing. And what that does, it's exciting for me because it takes the distribution off my shoulders. Mm-hmm. But for people who are not writing commercial, like people like Scott was talking about, it's a phenomenal opportunity for people to share their life stories. You know, okay, we can do an ebook and put it on Amazon and all that kind of stuff, but there's nothing more gratifying than a hard copy of a book with your name in it, right? That feels great. That's right.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing. So it's a great opportunity for people to tell the family story, to tell those kinds of things. And I've seen a friend of the family has just done her family story, 300 pages. And I think, well, you guys need an editor, but at least the story is out there. And I think that's the important thing. And I think too often we get so, I don't know, so insulated or so threatened or so fearful or whatever, that we don't share our lessons. We don't share we don't share the lessons we've learned. Some of us can get paid for it. Some of us can't, but it doesn't matter. I think it's important. God gave us a bunch of skills, and it wasn't to hold these skills for ourselves. It was to make a difference in the world. And that's what's exciting to me about the book. And it's interesting because a couple of years ago, we moved from the suburbs of Toronto to downtown, and it was a downsizing move. It was brutal, but it was also a life changer. And we've connected with some amazing people, a wonderful spiritual community. Since we've moved, I've written 2 books and a video course. I'm thinking, whoa, Larry, slow down. You got to market this stuff. I mean, you can't just crank it out. So yeah, and it for me, I'm realizing that it's nice to have the book in my hand, and it's nice to have the recognition in from the book. But what's really magic is to have somebody say, you really helped me. Thank you. When I did my first book, an acquaintance got a hold of it, and at the time he was a clerk in a big business. He wanted to be a financial planner. So apparently, I'm taking this to face value, he was inspired by my book to start his own home business, which he did, and is now teaching at community college. So he wanted to be a financial planner. He read my book, decided he could do it from home, did it, and is now teaching financial planning at a community college. And so whenever I see him, which isn't often, but whenever I see him, he just is so thankful for what I've done. That's what it's all about. I mean, that's what makes me get up in the morning. That's what keeps it going. And that's why I say retire, huh? Yeah, it's making a difference.
I don't think that I will ever retire, Larry, because I love what I do. I think that I would like to travel more with my beautiful wife and do some things. But, it just the idea of helping people and being a positive influence in whatever sphere that we're in makes such a big difference. And I love the book writing thing because I never in a million years thought I would write a book. When my good friend, Mr. D. Scott Smith, said to me back in October of 2019, have you thought about writing a book? I'm like, whoa, hold on, pony. And I thought that will never happen. And then COVID happened. 5 months later, I published my book. And then now I've been involved I wrote a workbook to that and 4 other anthology collaborative books that have been international bestsellers, #1 on Amazon. That blows my mind. And the reason they've been so successful is because I worked with smarter people than me. But it's the idea of what you can actually accomplish if you put your foot forward and you do something. And that's what I like about you, Larry, is that you are always looking forward, trying to put together good content, good information for people. And I appreciate that. So what did you do let's go back. How did you start your career? What were you doing? What led you to where you are now?
Oh, okay. I was born into a working class family. So the ultimate was to get a good job at the factory. It was a steel company. And I didn't know at the time, but I guess I was smarter than most everybody else in my class. I finished at the top of the list, but my friends didn't like that. So I kind of tried to dumb things down so I could get on the baseball team and the hockey team and that kind of thing. I went to high school, and I had a great time in high school. My last year of high school, the guidance teacher called me and said, well, Larry, you're graduating. What are you doing next year? And I said, I don't know. And long story short was he had an inquiry from an accounting firm that they needed a student. So he thought I'd be good in accounting, even though I had, I aced the mathematics courses. Hey, bird in the hand's worth doing the bush. So I decided to do it. Hated absolutely every friggin' minute of it. So lasted a few months, wound up going to university. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought maybe I'll be a priest. That would be kind of fun to be a priest. Lasted half a day in theology and switched to arts. Third year of art school, a new dean of the college, and I knew him through student curricular events. Says, Larry, what are you doing next year? And I said, oh, I don't know. Sound familiar? And he said, well, you should go to law school. And I said, great, it's right across the road. I'll go there. And he said, no, you got to get off campus. I'm saying, wow, I like it here. So anyway, long story short, went to law school. Didn't know anything about lawyers. Didn't even know what lawyers did. During second year law school, everybody's talking about articling, which is a training. I didn't know what that was. So I went back to my hometown, talked to the lawyer who acted for my parents when they bought their house. And I said, everybody's talking about articling. What is it? And he explained it to me. And I thought, interesting. He said, do you want to do it when you finish? And I, whoa, yeah, that's cool. So most of my life has been that way. Just things have popped up. And I consider as default decision. When I left law, I started to realize a number of things, that everything I had done had to do with making a difference in people's lives. And that involved education and helping with the planning and the organization. I'm a great planner. Current question or popular question in helping people decide what they want to do is, what did you want to do when you were 3? And I kind of groaned when I first heard that. And somebody said, well, why are you upset? And I said, I wanted to be a garbage man. So now I look back at it, and it was all part of my making a difference, cleaning up, organizing, planning, all those kinds of things. So that's what brought me to my first book. And the first book it opened the door to me being more than just this person in this body. It was a collection of unused skills, a collection of resources that could help others and make a difference. So whether I was practicing law or a consultant or a coach or a writer or whatever, those elements were all there. So it's been that continuous, like David, like Michelangelo's David, continued to chipping away what's not David. So my life has been continuing to chip away what's not Larry. About 5 or 6 years ago, I had to do some marketing. So I did a marketing seminar, and it was so bad. It was good, but it was so bad. It was so full of hype and so full of BS and so full of lies and so full of exaggerations. And I'm thinking, why is marketing such a big deal? I mean, it's important, but why? What's it all about? And I'm thinking, why do we need all this MBA marketing bullshit when all you have to do is be nice to people? And so this process went through my mind, and I thought, hey, what about authentic marketing? So I played with it and thought, yeah, marketing, especially for those of us who run small businesses, is nothing more than making friends. We are attracting clients the same way we make friends. So let's forget about all this technical stuff that guys with the MBAs are yelling at us, and work on building and maintaining relationships. So it's taken me a long time to get from who am I, what do I want to do, to, yeah, this is what it's all about. This is why I'm here. And it's been a fun journey, no regrets, like absolutely no regrets. Could I have been where I am sooner? Probably not. I think I had to be where I was to be where I am now. And I am where I am where I am now in order to be where I want to be.
And living a life that makes a difference, that's really where it, as you say, that's where it comes in. It's not about making money, right? I mean, that's actually easier. It's about living a life that makes a difference. And as you've explained this, the different aspects that you've been involved in, that's what you've been doing. And if you step into retirement, I can guarantee everybody watching and now and into the future that won't change. You will still find ways to make a difference in people's lives. I want to jump back to that first book when you mentioned that it was picked up by Doubleday. On-demand publishing, self-publishing is a lot different today than it was just even a few years ago. But tell us, how did Doubleday find your book, pick it up? What happened there? And what was your experience working with a large publishing house?
Good question. I was at a trade show selling my book. I don't have a copy. I have it around. I don't have a copy near my desk here. I'd show you. And it was a black cover with white letters on it, just saying how to succeed in your home business. And I was selling this book at a trade show, small business entrepreneurial trade show. And just, it's like at a trade show. You just talk, and meet people. You don't really know what's going on. You get a business card shoved in your pocket and all that kind of thing. And I remember talking to a lady who was really pleasant, and she really liked the book. And she looked at the cover and said, "Oh, I'm not sure about the cover. I hope the book's better." And I said, "Well, it probably will be, because I did the inside and somebody else did the cover." Oh, okay. So anyway, this conversation went on and on and on. And she left. She said, "Well, I'll take it. It's okay." So I sold her a book for like $10. It didn't hear anything. Like I think I sold 200 or 300 books at that show. So it's one person out of 200 or 300. So about 2 or 3 weeks later, I guess I got a phone call from her. And at that time, she introduced herself as Gloria, who worked for Doubleday. And I'm thinking, well, hey, good for you. And then it turned out that she says, I brought the book back to my office and people loved it. And then I'm thinking, wait a minute, what is this? What is this? So then we started talking. And she said, would you be interested in selling us rights to second edition? And my brain is going, try me. So anyway, it was a joy working with them. It was a total joy working with them. And as we're working through the book, as we're working through the setting up the new book, the second edition, I said, I got a problem. I've got 6,000 copies of my first book sitting in a warehouse. What am I going to do with them? And the marketing manager, Darlene, said to me, well, is there anywhere you can sell them? I think, who am I going to sell 6,000 copies of a book to? And she said, well, sometimes large organizations buy books like that and give them away. Well, it turned out that on a totally different subject, I'd been talking to the big bank here, one of the big banks here in Canada. Long story short was that with Marlene's help, Darlene, it doesn't matter. With her help, I went to TD and I said, look, we've got this book and you can have it for next to nothing. I just want it out of the warehouse and be a great premium for you, a great thing to give away. And I'd been prepped by the marketing person to add a couple of other options. So instead of me just pitching one thing, I was pitching 3. And one of the things I pitched was a mass market size version of the second edition. Mass market is the small one. Trade paperback is a little bit bigger. So I said, and by the way, you can also do. They loved that idea. Absolutely loved that idea. So long story short, there was that they didn't want my book. So I still had 6,000 copies I had to sell. They wanted their own custom version with a custom bank cover and custom bank inserts and all that kind of stuff. Fine, So all this time I'm dealing with folks at Doubleday. So we finally got to the point that they signed the deal and everything. 110,000 copies of that little book, and they gave it away in their branches. They just gave it away, and instant bestseller. And in the meantime, Doubleday is flogging it around the world, so it was translated into 6 different languages. And thinking, wow, this is way cool. And I did an in-branch event for one of the branches here in Toronto. And they liked it so much. They said, can you do this again? And I said, yeah. So we talked about it. And I said, what about another book? What about me doing another book for you? And they said, like what? So I said, I can do this kind of a book. So I did another book for them, self-published. They bought 50,000 copies of that book and sponsored me on a cross-country speaking tour to talk about the second book, to do in-branch workshops. Canada's a big country. And I went coast to coast, did 21 presentations in 17 locations in 10 days.
Wow.
The smallest was 6 people in a branch in Winnipeg, and the biggest was 300 people in Halifax, all from that chance encounter at the trade show.
And the first thing you did is that you wrote the book. I'm just going to tell people that all of this started because you actually wrote the book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, and speaking of writing the book, as I am being the responsible host and jumping in here, we need to wrap things up for today, but I want to say that point that you both were just talking about, and that is you did something. You wrote the book. Absolutely. It led to something. It led to great things for you and being able to touch so many lives. So what would be your gold nugget of today's conversation and just what you want people to really remember, and then let everybody know how they get in touch with you so we can continue this offline with people that want to reach out to you?
One thing, I think my one thing changes with circumstances, but I think that the one thing for today would probably be, yes, you can. Yes, you can. I'm working on a 12-lesson video course on personal transformation. And I've just written a chapter, just prepared a lesson based on fear and based on fear of change and all those kinds of things. And so often we become comfortable in what we can't do, or comfortable in what we, even though we don't like it, we become comfortable there. So there's a fear of change. And the fear of change, it's up here. It's all imaginary. It's a feeling, it's not real. So I guess the takeaway for me would be, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because we can, as long as we have a good handle on what our skills and resources are and who we are, we can do anything. It's when we don't know who we are that things get messed up.
Yeah.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And how do people get in touch with you?
Easiest way is my website, LarryEasto.com. And by way of keeping it simple, which is where I trade things, what I try to do there is guide people. Instead of an information dump, it's just a list of questions to help people come up with one thing they can do to make a difference in their business. And all it range from, services to books and everything. And as a bonus, as a thank you gift for the people who are putting up with my stories, there's a free book there called 26 Ways for Service Professionals to Get New Business. And it's a download, just an instant download. There's a link there so they can get that with my thanks.
Awesome. Awesome. So great. Well, Larry, it is such an awesome pleasure to talk to you again and hear all that you've got going on. It is just, I want to encourage everybody, reach out to Larry. He is always doing a new thing. It's so encouraging, because we can do more than we believe, right? We undersell what we can actually do. So thank you for that encouragement today, Larry.
Thank you.
We will have to do this again in the future, but thanks so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to wave goodbye, but hang tight in the green room. We'll be right there.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Bye, Scott.
Inspiration.
There you go.
As I said, we bring the most remarkable people on the planet. Larry's story is great. That's a lot of books, but he started a while back. So don't tell people that, don't be intimidated. As they say, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And maybe it starts with just thinking about the topic of a book that you want to write, and then moving to an outline, and then writing a chapter, and then having some friends read it. It's a great way to go.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience, and not ever really thinking that was a reality, that you can do more than you think. And take a little encouragement from friends like my good friend D. Scott Smith. Do something, whether it's a book or whether it's a talk or whether it's a post on social media, whatever it might be. Reach out to and do something. It makes a difference in people's lives. I want to remind everybody that I have a great newsletter every Monday on LinkedIn. And there's some really encouraging information in there. I started doing that. Never thought I'd write a newsletter either. I started doing that about a year or so ago. Maybe it's been 2 years ago now. I don't know, a long time ago. And so check that out. Subscribe to that. It'll encourage you every week. And also check out the Waco Experience with Mr. D. Scott Smith, because it is a great new opportunity. Those are going to be converting after radio in Waco to podcasts, and you'll be able to listen to it online, right, Scott?
Absolutely. Yeah. People can go to thewacoexperience.com and hit the listen now button. It'll take them to the RSS feed if you're into that kind of technical thing, or Spotify. But of course, you can find it on Apple and Amazon and Google Music and wherever else you're looking for podcasts.
For sure. Well, and we're thankful that you're here every week, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for your listening and viewing pleasure, or 9 a.m. Texas
Standard Time. Yep.
Texas Standard Time. And this also converts to audio podcasts. You can listen on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. Remember that it also sits on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook forever. So go back. If you missed part of this, re-listen to it, share it with your friends. It would be an encouragement to your friends. So share this out there and tag your friends. We'd appreciate that. Join our YouTube page. Remember, all the information about Scott and I is at local.theexperience.video. And we're just so thankful for this community and that you're here. Scott, any closing words before we
just
sign off
grateful to be able to spend time with you, Russ. It's always fun, even though it's on screen and not at our favorite little coffee shop there in Salem. But hey, you never know what tomorrow's going to bring.
That's right. And I'm always excited to be with you.
All right, good.
And with that, we're going to say goodbye.
Scott without Kirby.
Yes. Have an amazing week and enjoy
the experience.
Woohoo!
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.